Well, good morning and welcome to our devotional time here Monday. Hope all is going well for you. And I thought I would just talk about the book of Job, and so I'm not going to pull out a particular verse, but instead just remind us about Job. Job was a picture of a man who was suffering mightily, and I think it's a beautiful picture of God working in the midst of our grief. And as I thought about that, I thought about so many times in my visits, and I bet your visits to funeral homes to comfort families and to share in their grief, that maybe there's been some times you've wondered, what should I do? What could I do? Because there's so many times I'll go to a funeral home and see someone and they end up talking about the weather or something that just they're so uncomfortable they don't really know what to say and how to meet the needs of the family that they're visiting with. And Job is a great place to go, and we see in there a picture of two friends. They know the right answers. They're church people, apparently, and they repeat these biblical answers about grief and about God's goodness in the midst of a person who's hurting, who's lost family. And it kind of rings hollow, and we see that throughout the book. And I think a part of the problem that Job brings up here is that these people, they know the right answers, they know some of the things to say, but there's no heart in it, there's no intimacy in it at all. And so the message, though it may be true, rings hollow. And there's a guy named Joe Bailey, who wrote a book called The Last Thing We Talk About. And he was writing a book about dealing with the grief. He ended up losing 3 sons in his short time of parenting. And he wrote about his experiences there. And I just wanted to read from this little book of his, just a little excerpt here that I think is just is powerful and speaks to this idea of relationship as opposed to just knowing answers without knowing the person who spoke those answers. And so Joe writes, "I was sitting torn by grief, and someone came and talked to me of God's dealings, of why it happened, of hope beyond the grave. He talked constantly. He said things I knew were true. I was unmoved, except I wished he'd go away, and he finally did. And another came and sat beside me. He didn't talk. He didn't ask leading questions. He just sat beside me for an hour and more and listened when I said something, answered briefly, prayed, and simply left. I was moved. I was comforted. I hated to see him go." And as I look at that little excerpt there, I think that second person that Joe talks about, is the one who did it right. And you can tell that there's something about a relationship in there. And that's what I just want to leave you with today. Let's make sure we not only know the right answers, but we know the one who gave us those answers. That relationship is so important, and it'll be important as we minister to those, especially as we've talked about today, who are in grief, to allow them to hurt and speak before us, and just to listen and give those maybe brief answers, but to allow them to grieve and know God in the midst of that hurt. Well, I hope you have a great day, a great week, and we will see you soon. Remember, Bible study is Wednesday, and then we have another devotion Friday, and of course our meetings on Sunday. Blessings. Talk to you soon. Bye now.